Welcome along to another episode of Tosin Talks. I'm your host, Tosin. We are going to talk about Europa League and the matches you're usually watching this weekend. So let's start off in Glasgow with some big winners. South Korean striker by the name of O. He came back to haunt Rangers. For those who don't know, Celtic and Rangers have beef forever and always. It's going to be like that. O used to play for Celtic, and he now plays for Genk. He ended up scoring the winner in the second half. He missed a penalty in the first. Had another chance that got called for offsides, but Russell Martin, it's not looking good for you. The next couple of weeks, don't be shocked if he's out of a job. Let's go over to Switzerland, where Young Boys hosted Panathinaikos. Anas Zari scored the first hat-trick of the 25-26 Europa League campaign as Young Boys lost to Panathinaikos 4-1. Yikes. And Porto, if you've not seen this goal from William Gomez over Salzburg, it was in the 93rd-ish minute, somewhere like that, last minute. Beautiful goal to win the game, and Porto did their thing. And let's talk about Tanner Tessman. I'm American. I love America. Let's talk about what Tanner Tessman has done. So, Tanner Tessman actually was at Clemson. He was a dual sport recruit. So, he played football as a kicker and our football. So, football and football. And he's the godson of Dabo Sweeney. Began his player with FC Dallas. That's how he started his career, over in FC Dallas. Decided, you know what? I don't want to play both sports anymore. I just want to play football. Went professional in 2020. And he went to Venezia after playing MLS for a little bit. And after 3 years, Venezia last year went to Lyon. This game that Lyon played, he came off the bench. And when I tell you this goal, you have to go watch this goal. I don't care what you're doing right now. Stop what you're doing. Let's take a second. Let's breathe. Let's pause. Get back? Cool. That goal that he scored, he came off the bench in the 65th minute. 10 minutes later, he smashed home the winner. That is one of the most beautiful goals you'll see all week. Go watch it. Tanner Tessman, you're a Europa League hero now. You can't spell Lyon without USA, right? Let's talk about some veterans and some tight contests. Olivier Giroud, still rolling back the years. He became the third oldest goal scorer in Europa League history. He is 3 days away from being 39, and he's still scoring goals, so shout out to him. Leo beat Brand 1-0 thanks to Olivier Giroud. Stuttgart edged past Celta Vigo. It was 2-1. Bilal El Khanous, who did very well for Leicester. I was very shocked a lot of teams didn't pick him up because he showed he has flashes, and he's doing well for Stuttgart, so scored his goal, and good for him as they beat Celta Vigo. In Seville, Antony rescued a point for Betis as Nottingham Forest. They played out a 2-2 draw. Cedric Bakambu scored the first goal. Really good finish, by the way. And Igor Jesus got a header, and he got a really good finish. Two players for me that stood out in that game for Nottingham Forest was Elliot Anderson. He is exactly what it looks like. Elliot Anderson is a very, very talented player. And Igor Jesus, he's looking good, warming up. So, shout out to Igor Jesus. Red Star Belgrade and Celtic. I'm going to say two names, and you're going to hear these names. You're like, excuse me. Kelechi Iheanacho and Marko Arnautovic. They both scored. That game ended up 1-1. And I was confused. But Kelechi looks like he's taking doing well for Celtics. So good for him. We had some early campaign drama. Sturmgrav scored the first own goal in the 7th minute, and they ended up losing 2-0 to FC Midtjylland. Zagreb started out strong. They beat Fenerbahce 3-1. And you can see why Jose Mourinho got fired, because that team is looking very, very shaky. Roma got the job done against Nice. Man United's owner was also there. Jim Ratcliffe also owns Nice. He was at the stadium. Evan Ndika and Mancini both scored headers. Terra Muffy got an equalizer from the penalty spot, but it was, not enough. Europa League will be back, and there's going to be a lot of drama. Conference League will be back soon. Champions League will be back soon, and we get to see all of the things together. So that was Europa League Roundup. Let's talk about the games this weekend. In La Liga, we have the Madrid Derby, the Barcelona versus Sociedad, and Villarreal versus Athletic Club. Real Madrid to start off the season very well. Kylian Mbappe's on fire, and most of the injured players are coming back already. Jude's back, Camavinga's back. So you start to see Madrid get that depth. Atletico Madrid have not started too well this season. They've had some wins. They just beat Rayo 3-2 with some really good goals. If you've not seen any of those goals, please go check that out. And that's why that game is one you should be watching. Barcelona is another team that looks great, started well, and Sociedad have not. Barcelona just came off a 3-1 win. Marcus Rashford is looking spry, looking good. And Gavi is the best midfielder in the world. If you don't agree with me, look in the mirror and argue with the first person you see. Athletic Club take on arguably the fourth best team in Spain, which is Villarreal. Very, very excited match, that one. Athletic Club have not started too well. Let's talk about the Bundesliga. I could tell you to go watch Bayern Munich, but you probably know how that story ends with Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga. We already know. But Mainz versus Dortmund, Mönchengladbach versus Frankfurt. Let's watch Mainz versus Dortmund because both these teams have abilities to excite, frustrate, and be unserious all at the same time. So that's going to be exciting to watch. And Mönchengladbach versus Frankfurt. Frankfurt has some very exciting players, and they are needing a win. They haven't been doing lately too well in the last couple of games, but yeah, we figured it out. They're talented enough. So Gladbach versus Frankfurt, I'm excited about that one. Let's talk about Serie A. Juventus versus Atalanta. Napoli versus AC Milan. Juventus has scored 9 goals and conceded 8 in their last 3 matches. Yeah, something is going on over there. It's fun if you're not a Juventus fan, I'm sure, because defensively they're letting anything in, but they do not care. Atalanta is scored with confidence, so that's going to be very, very fun. Turn your TVs on. And for the first time in 12 years, Conte versus Allegri, Napoli versus Milan, 2 of the most successful Serie A managers ever. This is going to be a very, very delicious matchup. They've not faced each other in 12 years, so I'm excited to watch this. Let's go over to the League On. We have Lyon versus Lille, drama, young talents, beautiful kits. Strasbourg, Marseille is another one I should tell you guys to watch. So Lyon versus Lille, Strasbourg versus Marseille. Drama, young talents, beautiful kits. Both these matches have it all. And on top of that, it's France. So you know something dramatic is going to happen over in France. And now but not least, let's say for the Super League, aka the Premier League, we have Brentford versus Manchester United. Chelsea versus Brighton, Crystal Palace versus Liverpool, Newcastle versus Arsenal. There's some other games as well, but these ones stood out to me the most. So don't fight me if you say, oh, my team's not here. Any of the fixtures, by the way. If you have any fixtures you want us to watch, please let us know in the comments. I'm definitely excited to know what you're thinking about watching. But these matches in the Premier League, I have nothing to hype up, okay? These are big boy games. You put your big boy pants on. Last time Man United wore their 3rd kit at Brentford, they lost 4-0. So there's that. Chelsea and Brighton. They're both singing the boys' mind. I don't know who's Monica. I don't know who Brandy is, but they both are doing the same thing. They're looking at each other and copying each other. You remember when LeBron James was doing that thing and Andre Drummond was copying him? That's Chelsea and Brighton right there. Palace and Liverpool, they both have not lost the game, so that's very delicious. And Newcastle versus Arsenal. Will the handbrake be taken off? We don't know. But, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very excited for these matches this weekend. Europa League was fun. There was some good La Liga games over in the week as well. Some good Coppa Italia games as well. But the weekend's here. Today's Friday. There's going to be a lot of games even today. There's going to be a lot of games Saturday and Sunday. And we'll do a weekend review and let you know about my predictions. If any of these games were fun enough to watch, if I was wrong. But I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of football to watch over the weekend. I'm Tosin once again. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm out. Everyone have a great weekend. Peace.